I'm Julie Jepson. I'm the Executive Director for Stepping Stone Emergency Housing. I've been working with the organization for 9 years, and every year I just see the experiences of those of our residents who we continually help and try to and strive to provide critical support services so that they get the help that they need and move out of homelessness and into stable housing.
So tell me a little bit about what led you to sort of work with Illusion and to start telling residents stories and to try to get this whole idea of spreading the word about what you do.
It's essential that people hear directly from those who have or are experiencing homelessness what the reality of that situation, of that moment in time is actually like, and the profound impact that that has and has to have on those in the audience are that's what's going to change things. And I really wanted to partner with a professional writers and directors to get that passion from the residents and the former residents on stage, so that it's also presented in a very unique situation and could also make that live performance very fascinating. And so those who are experts in live performance, in the written word and in song, let them take the words of our residents that are so impactful and profound and do what they do best.
So I wonder, Jasmine, if you wanted to just talk a little bit about your experience with Stepping Stone and sort of your journey through and now where you're living and whatever you'd like to share about that connection and how it was telling your story to us.
This is my second year dealing with Stepping Stone. I got out of jail. I didn't have nowhere to go. I was in a different county, a different state. They kind of just drop you off. You know what I mean? You don't know what you're going to do. It's very structured. I don't know. You could just kind of feel the love. This is my second year doing my little speech or whatever. I've done it actually there before COVID. We actually went there, had dinner and all that. It was really nice. I got to tell my story and investors got to invest into our everyday life. You know what I mean? They helped me do everything, things I couldn't even imagine. They helped me. It's just nice to know you got help in case managership. I don't know, they kind of invested in me and my son's future. And I'll forever be grateful for my case manager, Miss Julie and Miss Jonna.
So Michelle, maybe you could chime in. And I know you have a long connection with Stepping Stone and you are working for them, and maybe you could just share a little bit about that transition from being a resident to then working with them and kind of being out of the Stepping Stone housing.
You know, my first initial thought was like, you know, Stepping Stone is my lifeline. Even today, when I was a resident at Stepping Stone, after some time, I found myself wanting to work for them. And it was all because of the programs and the help and the people, and to the fact that I got to learn how to live in a whole new way. So when I left, it was kind of a sad day, but it was a very exciting day. For me, Stepping Stone, I say it's a lifeline because I needed them again. And they opened up their arms, they opened up their doors for me so willingly and openly that I never felt more loved in my life by another human. So I'm a lifer in this work just because of what Stepping Stone has provided so far for me and my life.
Beth, do you want to talk a little bit about our relationship with Stepping Stone and then the process of, as Julie said, listening and honoring and respecting individual lives, and then finding a way to translate them in a way that you know could respect that and then also bring a message to people.
Like Julie said, it truly is an honor and a privilege to be able to get the experience, the visceral experience, even just a little bit from interviewing people who have gone through it, like Jasmine, like Michelle. And our quest, I think, which we began maybe 3 years ago, is to honor their stories and to present them in a way that respects the experience and who they are. And also a challenge from year to year has been to find new forms in which to tell the story. I think the first year we had some back and forth, we had some monologues, and then another year we did only music. We did music. And then when COVID hit, we had to go virtual. So it's we've kind of changed with the times. This year, I took a class in puppetry, and there's this really interesting form called Lambe Lambe from Brazil. And so we have an artist creating a new method of telling a story for one of our stories. And I'm excited about that, to see how that translates. I think it will be very moving. And just to get that grief out, to get the stories out and into the world, I think is really important, in order that others who are not close to this experience can get a piece of it and offer help.
From my perspective, the empowerment and the ownership of a story, and usually, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jasmine and Michelle, but when the stories are told to a worker, to a case manager, to a service provider, they're telling their story to get something in return. But in this environment, they're telling their story to give something, to put it out there, to impact others' lives by the trauma and chaos and crisis that they've had, in my hope of giving back.
I think that I tell my story because I want people to feel my pain as well as my kid pain, and to know that when I came there, I didn't have my kid, and to know that he's here right now. I tell my story so that people can feel my pain, and they can feel that losing a parent, losing another parent, it's very hard. Living on the streets when it's cold outside and you don't got nowhere to go and you just looking around and they just let you out of jail, what you gonna do? I can't sleep under a rock. It's cold. You know what I mean? So for them helping me, materials, down to hygiene, down to counseling, down to financial advisory. I'm talking about they break it down, budgeting. If you need help budgeting, clothing closet it used to be before COVID. Just certain things that they have for us. It's so nice because my son autistic and we be needing extra help. And I don't know everything. I really don't. Sometimes I do, but other times I don't. And I be wanting help because sometimes I get upset like anybody else and I get frustrated. And I get frustrated at obstacles I know I can't cross without help. And stepping stone been that stone. To have that help, to know that they will answer the phone and to be there for questions, comments, and concerns, food banks, food pantries. God, they just help you all the way around, whether they got funding or not. Julie gonna make it happen. She gonna make it happen for you. She might want you to do a class or take some course or something. So they help you be better.
I share my story not so people can get to know me, but to have people understand and take away the stigmas. We're human. I mean, we make mistakes. We have circumstances. Life happens. And it's not like we just give up, and it's not like we're just gonna walk around with a handout. So mine is more for I think community awareness, to change the perceptions of people, to open up minds and hearts. I mean, it's good that people get to know me. That's kind of cool. It's more scary than focusing on what I can provide to others and create a positive change on a bigger scale.
So, Julie, do you have any other things you want to say about the plans or the dreams of Stepping Stone that the community could help you with?
I mean, the purpose of this event is a fundraiser, but it's also educational and getting the word out. And I think, like Michelle said, just remove that stigma, because I had someone say to me the other day, just because we don't have doesn't mean we're less than. These are human beings. These are human beings just like you and me, who are in horrible situations, many of times through no fault of their own. Life is hard. It is not easy being poor, and it's a full-time job trying to get help. And if we can remove some of that effort that they spend so much of their day on, we have to do it. That's where the community needs to invest. The type of organization we are is we need more of us around, and that's our goal, to expand throughout our communities so that we can help more and more and continue to change lives like Jasmine and Michelle and numerous other people.
And Stepping Stone is a shelter, a one of its kind. There is no other one like it.
So, Julie, if you would maybe also say, to go along with that you're the only one, how many residents you have room for?
So the shelter, as it's set up, has a capacity for 66 people. Last April 2020, when COVID hit, it hit hard, like the rest of the world, and half of our residents moved into a hotel. And so for the past over a year, we've had half our residents in a hotel, half in the shelter, providing the exact same services as much as we possibly can. 3 meals a day, our clothing closet, our hygiene items, all of that, to both locations. Through funding restrictions, through changes in funding, because, as you can imagine, our level of services provided in a hotel situation is not ideal. And so over the next couple months, we're going to move those 33 people back into the shelter. And so we're going to get back to the capacity of 66 by the end of June.
That's great. I'm sure that is also going to be a lot of extra work too. So another reason why this would be a great year to increase the support if you're already giving it, or find some new people out there to support.
And I think events like this and promotions for things like this make the volume a little bit higher.
I just wanted to commend both Jasmine and Michelle and the other people who have shared their stories about the bravery and the vulnerability in sharing those difficult stories with complete strangers. And I don't know many people who can do that. You know, it's amazing, and it's humbling to be on the receiving end of that kind of trust and vulnerability.
There's a lot of sort of responsibility we feel to make sure that what we're doing is not only has impact for what the event is, but also has really a kind of respect for the individuals who've shared so much with us.
I just want to commend Miss Julie. I've seen them go through a lot, so much, and for them to keep it together and still have their organization is good. To provide and to do things and still have a smile on her face and still ready to ask questions. She used to always tell me, come down to my office. You want to talk to me if I'm free in the hallway, stop by and talk to me. Some days you want to talk to see if the bigger people understand the littler people like me. And they do, they understand. They take time out their day, they barbecue, they do a lot of things, and I just appreciate them so much. It'd be nice for y'all to invest in them, and so that, you know, I'll be a public speaker forever. If they need me, I'll be right there, you know what I mean, because they don't have to help me. You know, my background is not good. You know what I mean? But my future is definitely bright.
Julie, you do not just work at Stepping Stone, you run the place.
Mhm.
If it wasn't, I mean, Stepping Stone is what it is because of your work. at Stepping Stone. And Jasmine, I am so happy and so excited for you right now, and even more so to get to see you doing so well and with all your kids.
Thank you.
Back on my feet, standing up tall, sober and free from the darkness.
This is my dream.